I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Yeah, imagine if your computer starts, here's an example, you know, they've done these things where sometimes if it was very personal with you, all of a sudden, you know, your computer goes, you've got mail, nothing from me, but you've got mail, fine. You know, or just like you're a very Jewish computer, fine, you've got moil.
You got moil.
But it's that
That's
thing
how
of,
my wife would say it from New York.
yeah, it's like, well, you've got moil, hello, fine, hello, oh, fine, play with the mouse, I'll be here, I'm waiting. Oh, well, look at you, look at you, look at you. You know, or the German ones that they have in the cars. And the Mercedes actually has a GPS locator that describes, you know, take a right. And if you don't take the turn, fine! So you don't want to get there.
There's your orders.
Yes, you could have made it if you followed my directions. But instead we are driving around in circles. Shh, von Island zu gehen.
What happens if you're in Ireland, in Dublin or something? And
Oh, I just stop for a Guinness. Well, you're Scottish, with a Scottish word processor. You got there. You did it. Just do it. Come on. Get your hard drive out there. Just make a download now, you bastard.
You might have to redo all the scenes.
Yeah, a Macintosh. There it is.
A Macintosh.
Yeah, there. Do it all. You've got mail, and it's now there. Read it. Go on with it all.
Apologize, folks. Give me a second. I'm waking up from watching Bicentennial Man, or trying to wake up, because it feels like it took 200 years to watch this movie, or 200 minutes, or 200 kicks in the ass. I know a lot of people like this film. If you like this film, teach their own. I know a lot of people love this film, teach their own. I'm not one of them. Now, first off, this is a Patreon request from Johnny, who was very nice enough to send me a bid tier on my Patreon. So Johnny's getting quite a few reviews because of that. If anyone's ever interested in joining my Patreon, or if you want to send me a request via PayPal, whether it be a review, movie topic, whatever, the links to them are down below in the info box. Now, I love Robin Williams. I miss Robin Williams. I love many of his movies. Club Paradise, What Dreams Become, Toys, Mrs. Doubtfire, which will be the next review. Because that's one that I liked and then went, I don't know, I'll get into that, but watch it again brought a smile to my face. And that's why I haven't done Robin Williams marathon or anything in between, because I'm going, I miss the man so much. He seemed to bring so much joy and energy, whether you're watching interviews, the inside the actor studio, which I know that guy, James Lipton, he's passed away now. But he was, all these things he did, just so much improv genius. And of course, you can watch The Fisher King and Aladdin and Awakenings, just many others. He's done a lot of good work. His stand-up was funny. He just seemed like a really generally cool guy. And, you know, Cadillac Man. No bullshit guy. I enjoy that. I miss Robin Williams so much. And so I didn't want to do a marathon or any reviews unless I was going to be honest. And not go, well, I like the film just because Robin Williams, because I missed the guy so much. I was heartbroken when he passed away. But I can't say I like this film because I think this film is terrible. Idea, if you like the film, that's cool. I think this film's god awful. And you go, well, why? I think it's too long. It's well over 2 hours. Because of that, it got boring and poorly paced. I think it's over sentimental and emotionally manipulative. Kind of what happened with Patch Adams, although I would put Patch Adams above this. But they're two films that really try to be so over sentimental and sweet to the point it becomes cornball, and the sweet that kind of rots your teeth, and emotionally manipulative, especially by the end here, which hell, by the end of the movie, more people die in this movie than action films I've seen. Hell, this is a comedy, and more people die by the end of this movie than certain horror films I've seen. For fuck's sake. This movie has a bigger body count than some fucking slasher films I've seen. I mean, shit. A lot of people, they get old and they die. It's a different way, but still, body count-wise, pretty big. Well, maybe not that big, but still, that's what it felt like. And that's what I get the story that it's telling, and people feel it, they're touched at certain places. Not in the way I want to be touched at certain places, but, you know, teach their own. Bicentennial Man, it's directed by Chris Columbus, guy who did Home Alone and Mrs. Doubtfire, cool, but it's also the director that went on to do Pixels. The film that stars not Adam Sandler, but Adam Sandler's cardboard cutout. Or if you took a piece of wood and painted Adam Sandler's face, that's what starred in Pixels. Because I don't know who that's supposed to be in Pixels. Is that Adam Sandler? Maybe it's his body injected with knockout drugs and put on strings. Because there was no life to him in that movie. But that, you know, different thing, different day. The story of the film, Sam Neill and his family, 2 daughters and a wife, they get a servant, an android servant, who is named Andrew. And hangs out with the family. Mainly Sam Neill and the youngest daughter grow an affection for Andrew. Pretty much just a build-up of the robotic android character. I like the design, the look of the android. I thought the effects for that were well done. The family starts noticing that he does things. For example, he purposely makes a little item for the little girl without being asked to. Listens to classical music. So Sam Neill notices there's some type of uniqueness and individuality to this robot. So he starts teaching it things. The facts of life. So you get sperm talk. Jokes. Playing the piano. And then the movie is this long ass time year. Supposed to be 200 years. Hence Bicentennial Man. Journey in which the more he learns, the more he wants to become human. So at one point he meets Oliver Platt, who's a scientist, and gets skin, then gets the ability to feel, then gets a central nervous system, and then a love story clocks in, which part of me is like, I don't know if you needed a love story in this. Can't it just be a story about a machine that wants to be human? Do you need to fit a love story in there? No, the reason he wants to become human is the power of love. But not 100%, because at the very end, he wants to be noticed as a human. Why? Who gives a fuck? You got what you wanted. You with the woman you love, then you change it so that you're going to die with her, pretty much. No, he wants to be noticed human. I don't fucking know why, just because. So he gets noticed either 2 seconds before or 2 seconds after he dies. Even the movie's not sure about that. And then the wife, "Can you unplug me?" There's gonna be more people fucking die in this movie than action films I've seen, man. And emotionally manipulative. and just cornball sentimentality, over sentimentality. Sentimentality is fine. Over sentimentality is my problem with it. I can watch hours with Paul Walker and other films, sentimental in a good way. Here it's over sentimental, it's rotting my teeth, and they're ready to fall out. And it just, Robin Williams does not give a bad performance, especially when, you know, being a robot. And the interesting thing about this movie, the more human it becomes, the less interesting the movie becomes. I don't know how or why, but yeah, the more he becomes human and the more he starts looking like Robin Williams, the less interesting the movie becomes. Maybe just, you know, the look of the robot, that just seemed like the more interesting part of the movie, and then it just becomes a mediocre to below average to now you're trying to manipulate me into shedding tears, which, I mean, I know this ending's supposed to be uplifting, but I felt the opposite. And then it was a bit weird that the young daughter, Sam Neill, okay, she grew up to be grandmother, and then her granddaughter looks exactly the same as the grandmother. And then Robin Williams, who was very close with the little girl, falls in love with the little girl's granddaughter, who looked just like her, you know, grown up. Again, I'm like, for some reason I thought that was just a bit weird and almost creepy. I don't want to say incestuous, because that doesn't make sense, because the robot's not related to them, but I just, so it's not that. I don't know what it is. It just, something about that was like, just weird or creepy. I don't know. I don't know why. And I can't really think of many jokes that I laughed at or chuckled. There's the joke about when he presents the 3 laws of robotics and he's super loud and annoying, and how big the presentation is. There's when he gets told to jump out the window and he's a little bit fucked up and the twitches he does. There's the it's like trying to have there's the sperm talk where Andrew the robot is trying to understand, they die? The whole process just seems so messy. I'm going, great. I got that image of spunk in my head. Thank you, movie. Thank you, buddies. Thank you, pals. This movie's the spunk in my pants. No, they're clean. I didn't care for the humor. I didn't think it was that funny. Sad to say. The humor is subjective. And then 15 years pass, and Sam Neill is older, and the little girl's growing up, and then she's getting married, and then you got the idea that she was in love with the robot and the robot makes clocks and sells the clocks, and then it cuts to like 12 years later. He wants freedom, and Sam Neill gets pissed for some reason, which doesn't make sense. Like, wait a minute. You were teaching him all this stuff, but when it wants freedom, you get pissed. That doesn't make any damn sense. What was the whole point of teaching uniqueness and individuality? What's the point of teaching individuality, which you were teaching all this time, Sam Neill, but then you get pissed when it wants individuality? That's like getting pissed at the dog for wanting to take the leash outside, but then when it wants to go outside, you get pissed. And then it pisses on your rug, and then you get pissed. It's like you taught it to go outside, and then you don't want to let it outside. What the fuck is your malfunction? So he gets pissed, and then sometime later, I don't know how much time passes, then Sam Neill dies, but they patch things up. And then he travels all around the road to find robots like him, finds one robot shaking her ass, and for some reason has tits. Okay. I mean, you're going to make a female robot, I guess you got to have titties. and shaking her ass, listening to music, and then meets Oliver Platt. Gets a human face, human skin, and then I'm like, wow, the movie's a lot less interesting now. Comes back, and then the girl is much older. She's become a grandmother, and the granddaughter is there, and the granddaughter for some reason hates Robin Williams' character. And then the grandmother, she dies. The one humor I somewhat chuckled at is when Robin Williams is talking with Oliver Platt, and Oliver Platt's teaching him how to say piece of shit. Oh, just the way Oliver Platt said piece of shit. What? I know that. No. That's what it is, but that's what you say, piece of shit. That little bit of dialogue I had a little chuckle out of. One time in the movie, and it's over 2-hour running time. But then it's like the jokes leave. I think that's what happens. Like the jokes leave, and I'm like, this doesn't really become much of a comedy anymore, and it's just supposed to be uplifting. It just becomes depressing drivel. He's late, he wants to be late. The granddaughter now loves him, and he wants to be accepted, and she loves him because he gets a central nervous system. And then years pass, and I'd rather die a man than live eternity as a machine. I'm like, that's a stupid mistake. I get the idea. I think it's been done better in other movies. But funny enough, if I want to see a robot love story, I'll watch Wall-E. Like Wall-E, that's what I find hilarious too. Like Wall-E, I have more chuckles out of, and a more touching love story in fucking Wall-E than I did in this movie. Like Wall-E doesn't want to become human, but in a way, Wall-E is the better version of this movie. In a weird way. Where Wall-E is a robot that finds love, and this is a robot that finds love. Just the part of him becoming human was kind of the less interesting part. I kept saying it was the love story, but that can work because I didn't mind The Shape of Water. I have issues with it. I think it's the greatest movie ever. I did not think it was the greatest movie that year. Did I think it deserved the Best Picture Oscar? No, there's other films I would have chosen. But I didn't mind The Shape of Water. I didn't hate it. And I would say that's better than this when it comes for a love story of a different flavor. But here, it's a number of things. It's not finding it that funny. The story wasn't really that interesting to me. It overstayed its welcome with the poor pacing and overlong running time. It was the more human it became, the less interesting it became. The ending was more depressing to me. I mean, from some it'll be uplifting, but to me it was just depressing. And like I said, cornball, over sentimentality, and emotionally manipulative. Chris Columbus, I think he's done much better in the director's chair. Mrs. Doubtfire, previously with him and Robin Williams, was a much better movie than this. That's a film that had a better balance of humor and sentiments. Like, that one stayed the balance a lot better than this, which I'll talk about next time. But this one, I'm sorry, folks. If you like the film, that's cool. I thought the film fucking sucked ass. I've never been a fan of this movie. I saw it back in the day. I thought it sucked. Watch it again. I thought it fucking sucked. It just sucked 200 dicks. It just fucked 200 assholes for all I care. Get 200 loads on his face. But with that said, some good special effects. Robin Williams was not the problem, but to me, he could not save this film. Love Robin Williams. I miss Robin Williams. This is not going to be one of those Robin Williams films, though, that I'm going to rewatch much. Well, never again, unless it's requested. I mean, again, the only reason I rewatch this was because request. And that's the thing. If anyone sends a request, PayPal, Patreon, I'll review anything. It don't matter. And don't, oh, I'm sorry. There's once in a while I get so, oh, I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. You're taking the time and money to do that. Nothing to be sorry about. I'll review anything. But so thank you once again, Johnny. If you like the film, that's cool. If people like the film, that's cool. Just not my cup of tea. Now, next time would be a film that when I saw as a kid, I liked it. Then in between, I'm like, I don't know, the whole guy and a woman dress shtick. Watch it again. It's a good movie. It's a very fun, heartfelt, and the Ron Hands could have been a horror movie, but Mrs. Doubtfire is the next review, and that to me is a good one. See you next time. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.